Get strong.
Hello there, good day to you. So I'm back with another video. It's been a couple of weeks, maybe a bit more. I was away in Spain for a week, took the week off, and then we've been working very hard on today's subject to get it ready and show it to you. So this is a feature release rather than a live build. Got a few live builds planned, so we'll get back to those, but for the moment we're going with the new feature, the form builder in Macanta. So far, to date, Macanta has never had a form builder. You've always had to really integrate it via the API or Zapier, Integrately, something like that, to send the information from a web form elsewhere into Macanta. So, of course, it being Macanta, it's not your standard form builder. There is a standard version, but we've also added some extra pieces to allow for the fact that we deal with contacts and data objects and relationships, rather than just being a standard lead form. So let's get straight to it, and I will show you what we've done. So you will see, and this is live now, so you can go and use it. If you go into the admin section, you've got the form builder. So we go in there and we have the option to create a form. So here we're just going to go for a simple form, and we'll call it simple form. You can add a description if you wish. First thing you'll notice is there are 3 form types. So I'll quickly just give you an overview of what those are. The standard form type is a web form, as you may see it all over the web and that you've probably used before. This can contain contact and relevant data object information, but it's a simple form. You embed it on the page, someone fills it in, and we create the contact and the data object with a relationship, and then whatever workflows and automation you have set up will go from there. The next one is the integrated form, and this is what you use if you want someone to fill in a form and then be connected to an already existing data object in the system, and the form also allows them to choose which existing data object to be connected to. So events is a good example. You've got 5 events coming up. They exist as data objects in your system, and you want people to be able to register for those events. Therefore, you can have them fill out the form and they can choose which one of those 5 events they want to come to. There's some more detail in there, but that's basically what that kind of thing is what that form does. And then the two-way synced form is more of an internal form type. And this is how you are able to send a link to your prospects or customers, and they can then see the information you let them see. They can update their information, they can add additional information, and it then goes and updates an existing data object because it's driven by automation. So there you don't have the option to embed it on your site. It comes via Macanta for updating existing data objects. So we'll start with a standard form, and here you then have the option to say, well, I'm going to have contact object only, or I'm going to have events, companies, opportunities, whatever we need there for that. So let's, for this example, choose companies to work with, and then I'm choosing, okay, which relationship, when someone fills in the form, what relationship will they be given to this new company that's going to be created? It's going to be a key contact. We can change the text of the submit button. So send your inquiry. And then you've got the option, you can either set up a redirect URL, or you can just have a thank you message when they complete the form. So in this instance, we'll just say, we received your inquiry. You can now close this page. Okay, so that's going to be our message for this example. So now you can see, because we've chosen companies on the left, we now have companies down here, and we've got contact information up there. So let's go and add some fields, and we're going to say we want first name and last name and phone number on there, and I can add that, and you see it comes up in that form. So now I can move things around as I need or want them to be. I can also adjust the layout, so I can go and say, well, actually I want 4 columns, very much like the object builder. I go and say, well, actually I want them collected this way. You then also have the option here to say whether it's required or not, and the tooltip information is the message you want to have displayed on a required field if they don't fill it in and try to submit the form. Okay, so you've got that option there. So then we go and get our company fields, and we can go in here and say we want the company name, the company address, and we are going to say, well, let's stick with those for now. We add those, and let's go and save that. You'll see the form appears here. So for now we'll go back in to continue our editing, because of course I can come and do the same thing here. I can say, well, actually I just want 1 column here, and it's going to be called company details, and I don't change that, and let's ask for the name first. So there's my basic form. I'll save that again, and you can preview the form, and then you also now have access to the code to embed it on your site. So we provide you with JavaScript, iframe and HTML. We don't apply a great deal of styling to it, and we don't at the moment intend to add a lot of styling to the form builder in Macanta. You apply whatever CSS styling you have on your website. You've got the flexibility to show, hide, change, whatever you need. We tend to keep it simple. So let me copy the JavaScript here, and I'm going to go and paste it in here and update the page. And then when we come here, should be able to refresh that, and there is our page. So let's go and fill in this form, and then we can go and look at some other steps. So here we have, so I can go in and say this is going to be Martha Waits .com, phone number, and company name is going to be Martha and the Cats, and the address is just going to be, here is the company address for the moment. Okay, so I can now go and send those details in, thank you message, and we just say OK. So if I now go back in here and I go and find Martha, if Martha, as it happens, is already in here, I can go and load her, go to companies, and there's Martha and the Cats with the appropriate relationship as we've set it up. So for the rest of what we do here, I'll just use Martha as the example, but you can see we've got those details there. So then we are going to go and look at our next form type. And the next form type, I'm just going to amend this here, but our next form type is going to be our integrated form. So if we go here and we're going to change this to be events, and our relationship is going to be attendee. So I'm using events as an example, people registering for an event, just because we all reasonably understand the concept. Okay, so now I have my options based on the event. I can now come in here, this integration field has been created for me. I can now come in and set some details. So before I do that, what this allows you to do, like you build a query in Macanta for a dashboard widget, you can build a query for a field on a form, and then the objects that meet that query condition will then be displayed as options on the form. So that's what we're doing here. So I'm going to go and say where the event start is greater than today. So I want future events, and I'm going to say that the event city is only London and Manchester for the moment. Okay, so I can apply that filter. I can go in and change my group again to say event registration. Too many eyes. Okay, and then I've got additional settings where I can say, do I want this to be displayed on the form as a select or as a radio button? Let's go for radio button. I only want to show the next 3 available. I'm going to order it by the start date, and we're going to order it ascending. And the label is going to be choose your event. This is a required field. And we can go and save that. Now it shows you a sample information here. We'll go and save this, and then before I embed the code, I just want to show to you what we've done. Because if I go here, I think it's under my record, you can see here I've created these data objects, different cities, different dates and times, just a simple event object. Now they exist, each of them, in our system already. So I can now go back and show you the outcome of that. So I can go to the code, I'll copy that again. Whereas actually, if it's JavaScript, I potentially don't even need to. Yeah, so I don't need to do that. I can just refresh. I don't have to keep changing the JavaScript. Obviously HTML, iframe, you would need to replace the code. But now you can see what I have is I can then choose, because these 2 events are in the future and they're either London or Manchester. I clearly don't have a Manchester one in the future. So I can now fill in this form and choose one. And just to show you that if we go in here, we change the filter to say, well, show Berlin and Paris as well. And we save that. And let me refresh. And now you see Paris has appeared because we've got a future event in Paris. The other ones are in the past. And you can see Paris is at the top of the list because it happens first out of these 3 events. So let's go and register Martha for this. Now the first thing I just want to make sure is that Martha is not already connected to one of these events. So Martha has no event details there, but I can then go in and say Martha's going to go to Paris. Again, send the inquiry. I could redirect, change what I have there, but now I can see when I go and refresh Martha, she should have an event. And there it is, and it's Paris. And if I go to my relationship, you can see she's been added. I'm the event admin. Erwin was already an attendee. Martha is now also an attendee, and the appropriate automation can now run for that. Okay, so that's our second form type. So we now go and look at our third and last type, which is the two-way sync. So go to two-way sync. You'll immediately notice you don't get embed code anymore. It's now a copy link. I'm going to change this to be a company because we want the client in this case to update the company information. So the key contact is our relationship again, and we can say update company information. And now we're going to add some company fields. we're going to say company name, address, the number of employees, let's go for turnover. Okay, so we add those fields, and now we can actually keep those details as they are there, but let's go and change this to say we have 4 columns. We change this to company details, we edit the group, and we just rearrange as we want these bits to be. I can keep it like that for the moment. So just leave that for the moment as it is. So now I save the form. Now here's a bit where we're going to do some copy pasting here. Normally what you would do is copy this link and then put it in an email. I'm just going to do this straight in the browser so we don't have to wait for emails to send and different things. So if I go in here and I paste, you can see that that URL has some merge tags, one for the CDGU ID, which is the item ID, and one for the contact ID. Okay, so if we then go and we'll use Erwin in this instance, let's just see his company information. He has some details there. So I can open up that data object there and I can see that's the ID. So that's what you want. This is just for testing. You don't do this when putting it in the email. But we go and replace that merge tag with the item ID. And then I can see here Erwin's ID, contact ID is 4. So I can go and replace that. Just make sure not to get rid of the forward slashes. So now when I click enter, I see what Erwin will see when he clicks on the link in the email. So we can see here details, we can see the company details. Now Erwin has already filled in this before, but we can go and update that and say, well, company has grown and he's doing really well. He's updated some details. We can have that. So let's go and update the company information. We get our thank you message again. And now we should be able to update Erwin here, and we can see that that information that we updated has in fact been updated on the existing data object. So that's a way to allow Erwin to upload or update information without having access to Macanta. Okay, so that is our third type. So now I just want to come on to an addition that we have in these forms, which is the ability to upload files. So you can add, so let's go to this one here, and we are going to add a field, and we can say this is an upload field. And then we've got 2 choices, regular or field specific. We'll do regular first, and then we're going to say add your company info for the moment, and I can add that field, and that then becomes a drag and drop field. So if I now save this and I go in and I refresh this URL, now I have the option, so we leave the information, but I've got the option to pick a file, and we can say we're just going to upload this, that's there, and update the company information. Of course you can make a form look better. I'm just not spending time organizing everything carefully now, just to show you this. So now when I go back to Erwin, all things being well, I can go to attachments, and that file there has been added to the company, and I can also see it here. Okay, but we want to go one step further. We want to drive automation based on files being provided to us. So now we're going to use the file, the field specific upload. So I can set a field in the data object which changes from not uploaded to uploaded when a file for a specific item is uploaded. So first we need to go to our object builder to add that, and we go to companies, our sections and fields, and I'm just going to add a field here called company certificate, and the field type is going to be a file upload. Again, I've got the choice, is it single or multiple files that can be uploaded, what type, image, document, or all, and then I've got my details. These options, not uploaded and uploaded, are hard-coded, so not uploaded is the default. We add that, and then I can save that. So now when I go and we go back to Erwin, look at his company, and I can see here certificate not uploaded. Okay, so now we can go and amend our form to update that field when the certificate is in fact uploaded. Okay, so I'll get rid of this one here and I'll add a new one, and we say yes, it is a file upload field. In this instance it's field specific, and the label is company certificate, and the reference field is now that field that I've created. So you can have multiple ones of these which can then drive different automation on the same form. So add that field, save our form, and if I refresh the form here, you can see we've got that again. I go in there and we are going to use, let's use this file here, open that, and then I update and submit that, and then if we go back to Erwin, go to companies, first under attachments, we can see that file is there and it's the company certificate section, so you can split the files that way. And then if we go in here, we can now see certificate has been uploaded, and what that then allows you to do is to trigger automation, because that field has changed the same way you have with any other. So I stop asking you for the company certificate because you have uploaded it. So document request, you can do that. So that is the overview. If you want to get more detail and obviously break it down, if you go into the Help Center and you type form, there is a collection, so Form Builder Overview, which is similar to what you've just seen here, but in the Macanta Form Builder section there's a collection of videos going through these specifically in more detail than I have here. So that is that for the Form Builder. I see there is a question. Let me just go back here. I think it says, but we can with HTML form, right, Francis? I think what you mean is you can restyle and change whatever you need to. Yes, you can. I think that's what you mean by that question. So hopefully you find that helpful. Any feedback, suggestions, updates, all of that, as always, let us know. But yeah, that is the all brand new CSS. Francis says yes, you can add any CSS you wish. So yeah, that's the Form Builder, and I hope that is helpful. Any questions, let me know, and have a fabulous day.
Strong.